Hello YouTube! Welcome back to my channel, thezube. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, so I am really hyped about what we're about to do. It is basically a bunch of Blender tutorials and how to make GFX like on my channel, like my channel art and everything, yada yada yada. I'm sorry, my voice sounds like this. Let's just get that out of the way. I do not sound like this in real life. Yeah. A couple of things I want to talk about first before we start. So I will not be doing any gameplay for a while due to I'm using an older computer because my other computer is broken and it will take time to get a new one. So for now, you will be stuck with me telling you about YouTube tutorial. Roblox developing tutorials and whatever. Anyways, so, and one more other thing, one other thing, when using Blender, you do not want to skip anything. Like, you want to watch, and it may seem very boring, but it is extremely crucial and important. So you're going to want to watch every part of this. Alright, so what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to open up Blender, and the link of Blender was in the Blender Tutorial 0 introduction, and it'll be in this tutorial also. Crap, don't mind that. Let me just close that. So, when you open Blender, you'll come to this start screen. Now, do not click anything unless you've used Blender before and you know how to use it. But anyways, so there are a couple of things you want to know about Blender. It is a 3D modeling program and it looks very scary and complicated. It is until you actually know how to use it. So this video will just be on what the layout is and what everything that I know of. Mainly what you need to know to render something. So you get this basic layout, and I'll go over movement in the next video. But for now, you come onto this start screen and a bunch of this weird random stuff like scene, render, lamp, yada yada yada. It's actually kind of like Roblox. It's a lot more complicated, but let me get to it. So in the 3D modeling, there are a lot of parts, and you want to be very specific when you're rendering. So just like in Roblox, there's this workspace area, which you don't use much unless you need to select multiple parts or something like that. It shows which parts are selected. I'll get more into this area in a future video, but for now, let's move on. The area where I'm circling over right now is like properties in Roblox. It's the properties of not just a brick or a part. It's also the properties of what the nature will look like and shadows and whatnot. Not specifically shadows, but whatever. Thing on to the left here is the transform. This is like I don't know how to explain this, but this is more of the place where you do some refining. Yeah, it's where you refine some parts. I will get more deeper into that soon. And then on the bottom here is one of my favorite parts. It is like this toolbar. It's the toolbar. So there are a bunch of parts to it. Like there's what this main screen will look like. There's view, select, add object, whatever you want. Then there's these things, which are you're gonna want to pay attention to. So when you click on this little doohickey here called object mode, it'll bring up this other thing, which has a bunch of options like object mode, edit mode, sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint, and texture paint. I have no idea why I said those all. No need for it. Whatever. For now, just stay in object mode. I will get more into that in later videos. Then you have this big snowball here, which looks really nice. And these are what you will look at. Sorry, I am speaking way too much. These are what you will look at when you see here. So if I want to go into wireframe, it'll only show the wires of something. We don't really use that much, but I will do that later. This is like, I need to look into this a bit more. I think it's like where parts get, how parts interact with where they spawn, where they generate, and how I don't know. Here is one of the most important parts, just modeling. So there's the 3D manipulator, which I am learning how to use. The cursor, this cursor thing, which will move parts up, down, left, right, blah blah blah. The rotator, which will rotate parts, and then the size object, just like in Roblox. So you can make a big fat box in here. Anyways, so how do you use all these objects? So you're not just 101 here. The basic controls are, so for me, I use options that are usually different than most things. So so what you would do for, I'm really sorry, I cannot speak at all. So usually right click is to select, left click is to select, and right click is to just change the position of the cursor. And how you move and expand parts it's whatever your default click is. So I use right click for my default, so that's how I can move all those parts. I am speaking complete nonsense right now, I apologize. All of this stuff you don't have to worry about yet. So that's mainly all there is to. Oh no, it's not. So there's one more very important thing, like very important thing about it. So up here is probably one of the most essential things. Well, not the most essential, but so in File, this is where you save, export, import, a lot of things, and we're going to be using that. Render, you don't really need it too much unless we're being a little more specific about how we want to render. Window, not too important. Help. This is just if you need any help with anything. And then here comes this guy. This button is very important. So it is basically the kind of engine you're using, like it says here. It changes the way things look and how things work. So I believe Blender Game is for like creating game animations or something. I had never used that. Blender Render is an old operating system which is basic for now. It's not that great for making renderings on Roblox because it's an old version and it's not as advanced as it can be. So for most of these tutorials, I will be using Cycles Render, which I highly recommend you learn how to use because it creates great renderings, animations, whatever you want, and it will eventually Blender set the people working at Blender. The company says they will eventually make Cycles Render the basic. They will remove Blender Render and make Cycles Render most basic one. But yeah, that is all for just the basics of your view. And I'm the Zube. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. First voice video in a while. Yeah, so have a great day. Stay awesome.